You're listening to Puma Podcast.
Hi, I'm Franco Luna Puma Podcast. You're listening to Teka Teka News. In this episode,
magiging isang component city na tayo. Although ito inasam namin sapagkat pag ikaw ay city, meron ka ng fiscal autonomy. You don't have to remit your share ng RPT sa province. So maraming munisipyo ang nag-aim na maging syudad.
we talk about the feat of Carmona town in Cavite, or rather, Carmona city now.
Magtataas ang aming internal revenue allocation dahil kita nyo naman sapat ng national government, mas maraming nagpaparte sa ira ng munisipyo compared sa municipality. So yun lang ang aming talagang main purpose dahil kapag tumaas ang iyong income, ibig sabihin ito, mas marami kang services, projects and programs na maibababa mo sa taong bayan.
You just heard Carmona City Mayor Dalia Loyola. Carmona became a city after a successful plebiscite on July 9, 2023, becoming the 8th city now in the province of Cavite. The plebiscite was held after the Commission on Elections approved the petition for Carmona's cityhood last June 2023. People gathered outside the municipal hall where a mini concert was held to wait for the results of the voting, and it won with a whopping 96% of the votes.
I mean, we've seen Carmona grow. I mean, I've been working in the center for more than 20 years now, and we've been bringing local officials to Carmona, and they always have something new to share. So, sabihin natin, hindi sila kampante. For example, yung market nila, in spite of the fact that it was a municipal market, already looked so much better than other city markets, yung public market nila.
That's Raphael Montes. He is a researcher with the UP Center for Local and Regional Governance. Until recently, Carmona has been a town or a municipality since it was founded in 1857. In 2021, Carmona was the country's richest municipality with total assets of over 6 billion pesos, according to the Commission on Audit. Now, there's a very specific process by which other municipalities can do the same, but the aspiration of cityhood brings with it a strict set of requirements. First, how many people are living there?
Yung first criteria kasi dapat yung population mo is enough or within the parameters. Tapos yung land area, and then a few years before may dinagdag na income requirement. Pero nirelax na siya under this latest law. I think it's only 100 million pesos for the last 2 consecutive years at year 2000 constant prices. Ang contiguous territory, ibig sabihin magkakatikip na territory, hindi watak-watak, at least 100 square kilometers. Tapos ang population should be at least 150,000 as certified by the Philippine Statistics Authority.
Second, how much money are you bringing in?
Ito yung tatlong nabanggit ko, yun yung original criteria under the Local Government Code. Pero dinagdag na local income to local income. Kasi may income na galing sa national. Yung internal revenue allotment. Kung ang local income mo is at least 400 million pesos for the last 2 consecutive years based on the 2012 constant prices, you can be converted into a component city kahit medyo short ka doon sa dalawang regular parameters. So pwedeng at least 100,000 inhabitants ka lang.
Under the process of conversion, Carmona, like all other municipalities looking to make the jump, needed a congressman to sponsor its cityhood. That's because these city standards are actually not enshrined in the Constitution. It's all Congress prerogative on where to take any pending bids to become a city. Here's how Paeng Montes describes that process.
Because the powers of creating cities is in the hands of Congress. Congress can always make an exemption. And they can do that. They're Congress. The parameters of cityhood are not in the Constitution.
You might be asking how this affects people who aren't Caviteños. But see, the thing is, with the way our government functions, every other city is affected by a municipality becoming a city.
As you might know, the share in at that time, or internal revenue pa lang, was divided not according to what's collected at the local government territory. Hindi siya talaga according to situs of taxation. Talagang formula-based sharing pa rin siya. So, yung share ng local governments in internal revenue at that time was divided between all levels, province, city, municipalities, and barangays. May formula doon. And then that will be divided among the provinces, cities, and municipalities according to each tier by another formula, a second formula based on population, land area, and equal sharing. I think now with Carmona, it's 149 cities. Dati, ano lang yan, mga a little bit over 100. When that happens, the slice of the pie, where cities share in the revenue, lumiliit siya kasi nadadagdagan ang nag-share.
Bukod dun, there's access to the funding and resources, fiscal and financial autonomy, and the enhancement of basic services.
With the new law, there is a transitional phase where, for example, Carmona, the new city, will bring its share as a municipality doon sa pool ng mga cities for the next 3 years. And then, pagkatapos nun, then the new city will be able to share from the pie. Pero again, whenever you do that, another city shares in their slice of the pie, there's always winners and losers. If you're a city, you have a small population, and you have a relatively small land area, and then suddenly there's a big city, say, Bacoor or Dasmariñas, when they became cities before.
In 2019, there was actually a House bill filed to convert all provincial capitals to be cities. Zamboanga Sibugay Representative Wilter Palma III argued that 26 provinces in the country are without any cities, whether they be component cities, independent components, or highly urbanized, and their capitals remain to be mere towns or municipalities. And his logic was that converting capital towns to cities would give the provinces as a whole access to other incentives that only those with city status may enjoy.
That would be the first motivation, the access to the funding. And then you would also have greater fiscal or financial autonomy because functionally, and the local government code does not make any distinctions, whether you're an HUC or you're an independent component city or you're a component city, for as long as you're a city, you can exercise the powers of both the municipality and the province. So for example, municipalities are in charge of primary healthcare. So yan lang yung rural health unit, that would be the highest sort of healthcare that a municipality could provide under the law is a lying-in clinic.
We're pausing for a quick break now. When we return, let's look at what actually makes a city here in the Philippines.
The thing about the law is that once it fulfills all the statutory requirements of publication, I mean, there was already a plebiscite, so it's really already ratified by the citizens of Carmona, then, you could already implement things that you could implement. So, I mean, your life is not going to change just because your municipality has... The thing with the most recent cities that were converted from municipalities was that de facto, their municipalities were already exhibiting city-like qualities or characteristics.
Again, that's Raphael Montes of the UP Center for Local and Regional Governance. Cavite 5th District Representative Roy Loyola says that the cityhood will bring more opportunities for Carmona's residents. That's certainly good news if it were all true.
Pasok sila dun sa criteria, so they just took the chance. And if you talk to Mayor Loyola, that's what she says. First and foremost, the real property tax that's collected in Carmona, I am assuming because of the development that's going on there, property prices are going up. and that would mean more higher tax collection. If there are municipality, the collection of the real property tax will be the task of the province.
Raphael from the UPCLRG says citizens of a new city won't necessarily feel the effects of cityhood right away on the ground, though they'll be there for sure. In Carmona, there are already infrastructure development projects underway to turn the city into an economic hub. They're with the SM Development Corporation and SM Prime Holdings Incorporated. On top of the increased resources and enhanced autonomy in decision-making, Carmona is also set to begin offering lower business taxes than its counterparts in the Cavite province. But the transition on the part of government will definitely be something to watch out for.
All existing services, for example, will continue. There won't be an immediate reorganization. So current operations in Carmona will continue because the city of Carmona will succeed in the corporate existence of the municipality. So that will continue. All contracts, right, all appointments will continue doon sa panibagong city. What the new city charter says is that even the elected officials will continue up until the point when there is an election for the city officials. And, it's not probably going to happen soon. It will probably be also in the next elections. Isasabay na lang siya kasi magastos siya. And yung current administration naman were the ones pushing for their cityhood.
But there's a fundamental question here that has yet to be answered. What is a city really? Basta bang may Jollibee at SM Mall na malapit, city na agad? You've probably asked this question yourself, and that's a legitimate belief that some people have about our local government systems. Kaso, kung wala sa constitution, ibig bang sabihin prerogative lang talaga ng mga kongresista?
There were chartered cities before the local government code, which up to now still look really, really rural. So it didn't achieve that sort of density. Sabi nga namin, bakit hindi i-factor in ang population density? That's the interaction of the land area and the population. If the territory of a local government is really, really packed, that means that urbanization is taking place.
The problem is there's actually no single definition of a city that is universally agreed upon. Different countries and organizations use different criteria to define a city, like population size, density, or the presence of certain infrastructure. That can make it harder to compare data on cities across different countries or regions.
There is no measurement of what are the actual characteristics of urbanization, like population density, land use. And the UN has spoken about this. The UN was not imposing any parameters, but they were saying that if, let's say, 50% of the land area is already devoted to urban use, right? Isn't that area qualified to be a city already?
Now, the UN actually proposes a definition of a city based on the concept of urban extent or the total built-up area of a city. And that definition is based on satellite imagery analysis and can be applied to cities of all sizes.
I mean, even if they do not qualify for the parameters of population or land area, let's say it's a really, really small area, but really, really urban, yun yung, I would say, the blind spot of the criteria. Because probably, if population density and the type of land use, or sabihin natin the built-up settlement, or the pattern of settlement is incorporated into the criteria, I think it would be a more accurate depiction of urbanization, which is actually why municipalities are converted into cities. You don't convert vast swaths of agricultural land into a city and expect that it will urbanize, right? That's already a prospective application of development without really seeing any trends. I mean, there should at least be indications of urbanization.
But that lack of uniformity extends to our own policies too. See, the local government code was only recently amended to make it easier for municipalities to become cities. Those standards were only last changed in 1991. And as a result,
hindi sila pare-pareho. So halimbawa, cities that were chartered before the local government code in 1991, meron dun hanggang ngayon, less than 100,000 pa rin ang population. Kasi there are cities that look more rural than Carmona or some other municipalities. No, these are probably the cities that were chartered before 1991 when the local government code.
And maybe this is something other municipalities can learn from in their own pursuit of cityhood. And that was today's episode of Teka Teka News. Again, I'm Franco Luna. This episode was edited by Pidoy Blanco. Our Teka Teka News executive producer is Jill Caro. And our senior editor is Veronica Uy. And if you're watching this on YouTube and you appreciated the episode, please do take the time to like and subscribe to our channel. It really does help us out in the YouTube algorithm. Thanks for listening.